What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash. Welcome to the realm of Splash. Today we have a requested video. I believe Crazy Diamond from my Discord requested this, or a video similar to this. But anyways, it is me power scaling / ranking the X-Men, the main members of the X-Men, from weakest to strongest. Now, since the roster has varied over the years, the 10 characters from X-Men I will be scaling today include Iceman, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Beast, Nightcrawler, Rogue, and Kitty Pryde. So, with that out of the way, we're about to get into my personal ranking. Now, if you end up disagreeing with any of these picks, just join my Discord down below and talk to me about it. Let me know what you think. But anyways, let's get into number 10, Kitty Pryde. Now, Kitty Pryde is one of the youngest members of the X-Men. She's been around since the Claremont run. Basically, her power is to phase through objects. She can also phase people and phase through people. Now, while this power is very good potentially, as far as could be very dangerous to your foes, Kitty Pryde has not really over the years shown an aptitude towards being aggressive or using this in a very formidable way. Essentially, I guess we'll get this out of the way too. I'm using their consistency, so I'm not really considering outliers. So this is how they are on a consistent basis. Kitty is the least prone to attacking. She gets scared quite often. Fun fact, she was actually the main character in Days of Future Past in the comic books. Yeah, it's essentially her personality and lack of fighting IQ and skill that puts her at number 10. She does have a really good hack, but it's just everything else is very lacking for me. Next up, we have Beast at number 9. Now, Beast is Hank McCoy, one of the top minds in the Marvel Universe, consistently, specializes in genetics. Basically, while he is actually one of my favorite X-Men, he even got so popular that he became a member of the Avengers for a while. Beast doesn't bring that much to the table in combat that makes him exceptional. He's in the several ton range. He's been able to hang with characters that are around the Thing's level. He's shown he's able to get out of the way of characters like Juggernaut pretty easily. He's actually very agile for his size. But besides that, he's just, above human standards, above peak humans, a little bit above Cap, but nothing crazy. And I do give him a better chance than Kitty Pryde, because he's a lot smarter than her, as well as more combat experience. But besides that, Beast is just sub-metahuman for all his physicals, which is why I don't really value him as much as a combatant, even though I like him, and which is why he's stuck at number 9. Number 8 is my boy Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner, is, I believe he's from Germany. Basically, he was an acrobat. People consider him a demon because of his blue skin, and his power, besides his low metahuman physicals and his freak acrobatic skill, he is able to teleport. He does this by accessing a different dimension, and usually you can tell when he teleports because he leaves a nasty smell of brimstone. The reason Nightcrawler is number 8 is he's actually a solid fighter. He's trained with Wolverine. In fact, in the Claremont run, they trained quite a bit. He carried a sword for a certain amount of time, which automatically makes him badass. And he can teleport other people up to, I believe his teleport range is a couple miles. I could be wrong, but he does get tired from frequent teleporting. So he is kind of limited there. And he's not the most aggressive fighter. So if you are a smart combatant with decent reaction time, and especially with super senses, like Nightcrawler never gets the advantage over Wolverine because Wolverine can smell him. But yeah, the reason I put Nightcrawler above Beast and Kitty Pryde is I think he's more suited. Yeah, it essentially comes down to I trust Nightcrawler's teleporting and his acrobatic style over Beast and Kitty Pryde's offensive prowess, which is why Nightcrawler comes in at number 8. Number 7 is Cyclops, aka Scott Summers. Personally, Cyclops is my least favorite character of all the X-Men, by a wide margin actually. I think his character sucks. I do respect his tactical prowess and his consistent record as a strategist and team leader. He also is very underrated when it comes to his martial arts skill. He's able to bait Wolverine into attacking him first, oftentimes, and then utilizes judo and his most powerful weapon, which is his optic beams. These beams come from a different dimension, a dimension full of energy, and he can use them to either knock you out or obliterate a target. It really doesn't matter. He has pretty good control of it, as well as he is an expert marksman with his beams and can use them in a unique fashion as far as angled shots and bouncing them around perfectly. So yeah, while I hate his character, Cyclops actually is very formidable and deserves a spot at number 7. At number 6, we have the big metal Soviet, Colossus. Now Colossus, people might be surprised I have him this low on the list, but while his power is very useful, which is super strength and organic metal skin that he can change to, he's not much else in any other area. He could take a beating. It's hard to break through the skin itself. We actually saw the first person to break his arms was World War Hulk. But Colossus isn't that great of a fighter. He has decent wrestling, decent grappling, but he's more so the guy that takes the hits and wraps you up and throws around cars and stuff. He's a way more durable version of Beast, essentially. Colossus is very formidable when enraged or when he is mind controlled and just bloodlusted, but Colossus is actually very peaceful, so this rarely happens, which is why I put Colossus at number 6. Number 5 is Wolverine. Arguably the most famous of the X-Men, Wolverine is extremely lethal as an opponent. He is exceptionally quick, especially for being a supposedly street-level character. He's faster than every other character I've mentioned before, and Beast, who is one of the more agile X-Men, actually can't even follow Wolverine's speed when Wolverine is blitzing people. On top of this, Wolverine has his super senses. He constantly takes out Nightcrawler in training because he can sniff out the brimstone smell and immediately attack him. He actually is a lot more skilled of a fighter than people think. He's been around for over hundreds of years, so he has dozens of martial arts under his belt, as well as combat experience. He has his extreme regeneration from his mutant ability, and his adamantium skeleton, which is essentially unbreakable, as well as his adamantium claws, which are quite devastating if he cuts through you. The reason I don't put Wolverine any higher is because he's limited in range, and while he's exceptionally hard to kill, he can be put down. So that is why Wolverine comes in at number 5. Now at number 4, we have probably the most inconsistent character on this list, Rogue. Rogue actually didn't start out a good guy. She worked, I believe, under Magneto as one of the mutants in the Brotherhood, and eventually she would join the X-Men and learn how to better control her powers. But essentially her mutant ability is if she grabs you or touches you, she can steal your powers and abilities. While this seems pretty overpowered, in fact she did for a long time share the psyche and powers with Captain Marvel, these can also backfire on her dramatically. Not only can she take someone's power and not know how to use it and mess herself up, she actually did this with Storm's power. She could try to take power from a character that's either a really good telepath or is significantly stronger than her, and so her trying to take their power doesn't really do anything. This has happened with Juggernaut. This has happened with Magneto. So yes, while her power is very potentially devastating, she is very inconsistent, very unstable. She's not very good as far as an actual skilled fighter, which to her credit, she doesn't really need to be because she just has to touch you. But yeah, essentially, if you can hit her first, she's not going to do anything to you. And we're not going to be assuming she starts out with a whole catalog of powers. So yeah, consistency-wise, while Rogue's power is arguably one of the most dangerous on the list, she's too inconsistent to put any higher than number 4. Now, number 3, we have Iceman. Iceman is actually very underrated. Bobby Drake essentially has the power to control water molecules and ice itself. The reason he is actually very devastating as a combatant is the fact that he can regenerate when he's in his ice form. He can create clones of himself. He can fire ice at you. He can create shields with ice. He can fly around. He can move quickly with ice, essentially turn into puddles appearing somewhere else. When there's water molecules in the air, he can weaponize it. So essentially, when Iceman gets serious, he's going to take you down. As well as he is very hard to kill because he can regenerate, he can create clones, as well as he can create massive beasts out of ice and massive structures as well as golems. The reason he's not higher is, like a few other X-Men, Iceman is not inherently aggressive, so his offensive output doesn't necessarily match his potential output. And while his ice hacks are very dangerous, he even can freeze your blood, although he's only done this a couple times. He's not that versatile outside of just using his ice abilities, and he, like I said, is just not aggressive to be any higher. That is why Iceman, Bobby Drake, comes in at number 3. At number 2, we have my personal favorite X-Men, Storm. The reason I put Storm up so high is because she has so many tricks in her bag. Storm essentially can control any form of the weather. She can control rain. She can create storms literally the size of North America. When she's really pissed off, one time Dr. Doom fucked up, made her really mad. She created a storm that was literally tearing the earth apart. She can create storms that reshaped the earth, essentially apocalyptic level storms. She has mastery control of lightning. She's impressed Thor with her abilities. She can make it freezing cold. She's incapacitated the entire X-Men several times. Yeah, it's just all her weather hacks as well as her ability to create storms and create essentially chaos immediately makes Storm incredibly dangerous and incredibly versatile. And she's honestly one of the, when you watch, like, especially when you read the Claremont run, she's one of the only X-Men that just consistently, casually bullies Wolverine. Like, she gets him to shut up immediately. So yeah, Storm's versatility definitely lands her in the number 2 spot. Now, finally, at number 1, we have Jean Grey. Now, when I'm considering Jean Grey here, I'm kind of ruling out her first few appearances. Her first few appearances, she could, like, levitate a chair. It was pathetic. But the Jean Grey we see later on is the one we see compared to Charles Xavier. Now, what makes Jean so dangerous, most people know, is she's a telepath, but her telekinesis is just as dangerous. We've seen her incapacitate the entire X-Men several times. We've seen her go toe-to-toe with Apocalypse, and while obviously she's not an equal to Apocalypse, she can damage him. She can fight on the astral plane. She can erase your memories, steal your memories, get in your head, mess up your head. She bullied Emma Frost, who is a planetary level telepath. Like I said, Magneto has been actually mentally blitzed by Jean Grey, and he compares her to Professor X. And her ability to fly, manipulate your brain and thoughts, use telekinesis, create telepathic links for the team, constantly getting in their heads and using it in a positive manner, but she can turn it negative. As well as she just has so much power, she is considered worthy of the Phoenix Force. This is why I have to put Jean Grey at number 1. Essentially, if all of these people show up to fight, Jean Grey is going to mind hacks them all and it's rest in peace. But anyways, let me know what you like I said, I was basing this listing off their consistent showings, not outliers. If you think I should have reordered this list in any way, join my Discord, let me know what you think, or comment down below. If you're trying to argue about it though, just join my Discord. I don't want to do YouTube comment sections arguments. But anyways, like, subscribe, comment. It's been your boy Sir Splash, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.